Good morning and welcome to our first proper video recording. For those of you that probably saw the video earlier in the week, I was inspired by Amy Schmutter at last week's Content Marketing Academy conference. So it's now a week since the conference took place, so it was last Friday. So kind of fast forward a week and here I am kind of doing our first kind of video recording. I mentioned at the start of the week in a short video that Amy Schmutter, who did a keynote talk last week, had inspired me to do video. So here we are, and today I really want to just discuss the weather, but also the impact that has on the workplace. The kind of last 3 weeks in Scotland, the weather has been fantastic. It's the probably best spell of weather that I can remember for some time, and it has created a bit of a feel-good factor. People certainly feel a lot better when the sun is shining, but it has caused some issues, I guess, in some workplaces. People complaining about it being too hot. In Scotland, you can't win. It's either too cold or too hot, and at the moment, it seems to be too hot for people. And what we're also finding is that some businesses that we work with have a dress code policy, which can perhaps be a little bit strict. So I guess what we're kind of looking at to get out there is in terms of what your own dress code policy is, and can you relax that slightly during the kind of hotter weather. I remember my last HR manager job before I set up my own business was for a retail company, and they insisted that all the guys wore a shirt and tie, and during the summer months that was quite unbearable because the stores were very hot. So when I set up my own business, kind of decided that I wasn't going to wear a tie, and sometimes we can just wear jeans and a t-shirt. But generally speaking, if I'm client facing, it's a shirt and a suit, and that works well, and that's kind of what our kind of clients expect. But we get that obviously some businesses you may have a uniform, you might be customer facing, so you do have a uniform, and yeah, totally get that. But could that be slightly relaxed? Do the staff are allowed to wear t-shirts? We know that some dress code policies that's a bit restrictive because you also have a clause within your policy that says that you should display tattoos. So for staff to wear a t-shirt, that's not possible because they may have kind of tattoos that are on display, and on that basis you're kind of breaking the dress code. So do you need to insist that your staff don't have tattoos on display? Is that something that you could evaluate? Could you involve your customers in that process? What do they think? And also involve your staff. So it might be that you want to revamp your dress code slightly, and just kind of reflect the current times. A lot of people do have tattoos these days, and I guess as long as it's not offensive, is there a major issue with that being on display? I used to work for a call centre company previously, which wasn't customer facing, so you'd be speaking to customers over the telephone, and they insisted that tattoos couldn't be on display, and instead if they were, what they had to do was kind of cover them in bandages, and that actually looked a lot worse, if I'm being honest. On a Friday they would have a kind of dress down Friday, and you'd have all these kind of call centre agents going around with kind of bandages all over them like they'd been shot, but all it was is they were covering their tattoos, so they weren't customer facing. So is that really something that has to be in place? So just think about your kind of dress code over the kind of summer months, and can that be relaxed slightly? But and if it can you actually think about just revamping your dress code slightly? Is it something that needs to be looked at? One of the other kind of things that comes up over the kind of summer months is that the workplace perhaps being too hot. So for us, we don't actually have aircon. A lot of our clients don't have aircon. So how do you kind of keep the offices cool? So that might be making sure windows are open, maybe keeping the blinds closed to stop sunlight getting in as much. And using fans and such like. So there's other options that are there. For those businesses that are fortunate to kind of use aircon, then it's finding a kind of happy medium, because you'll find some staff will find it too hot and some staff will find it too cold. So it's just kind of trying to get a kind of happy balance there. Where you're not in an office facility, so you might be in a factory, it might be a shop, it might be a leisure centre. You might have staff that are kind of out and about, so just think about the kind of workplace conditions, that it's not too hot. There isn't a kind of upper limit around health and safety, but you want the environment to be comfortable, so perhaps think about kind of make sure you're providing water, there's refreshments available for your staff so they can kind of keep themselves hydrated over the kind of hot summer months. Other things to kind of think about is you might have staff that are working outside, so things like sun cream, making sure they're not getting sunburn, all these kind of things that you need to consider. So generally speaking, it only lasts for a few weeks in Scotland, this kind of hot weather. So the forecast, I believe, over the weekend is to change again. So whilst I'm kind of sharing this information today, it might not actually be relevant over the next week or so, but I've been told that, you know, June and July have to be good months. So it might be that you just need to make sure you're preparing properly for that and your business is ready for summer. Speaking of summer, the European Championship starts this weekend, and some staff may want to take some time off to watch the football. You know, you might have an international kind of workforce, so it's not just the kind of home nations, excluding Scotland, who are not in it, who maybe want to watch some of the matches. So what can you do there around, you know, granting some time off, some flexibility? Can you show the matches in the workplace? Is there some flexible working that's on offer? So have a think about that, and perhaps just kind of create a little bit of buzz around the workplace. You know, so some of the games kick off in the afternoon. So is there options there for staff to watch some of these matches that are on the go? Other things to think about over the summer is obviously we've got the kind of school holidays coming up quite soon. And certainly in Scotland, our holidays can start at the beginning of July, and in England for English-based clients, that's kind of the kind of third week in July. So it's a difficult time for working parents trying to kind of find childcare over a 6-7 week period, and obviously try to kind of juggle work commitments. For myself, I do take some time off over the summer to look after my son Harry. And I might do additional hours in the evening or the weekends to kind of catch up on some bits and pieces. So I'm lucky I've got that flexibility. Emma Baker, who's our HR advisor, she'll generally kind of take most of the summer off. She kind of works additional hours during term time to kind of bank some additional time over the holidays to provide childcare for her daughter. So, you know, that's something that we do. And, you know, it might be something, you know, your business might want to look at in terms of that kind of flexible working approach. It's a really great benefit to offer, and it's just to kind of see if you can kind of juggle that in your workplace, and obviously still providing that service to your customers. I guess if you want to kind of find more information about how to prepare your business for the summer, flexible working and such like, then kind of take a look at our website. We've got a lot of material on there on the blog, which is www.thehrbooth.co.uk/blog. And if you don't find what you're looking for, why not just kind of send us a question and we'll be happy to answer it. So thanks, and hopefully the good weather does keep up and you enjoy the summer. Until next time.